Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Vallen, and this is Witchery Brews, the last half of level 5. Stick around and it'll play through all the potions, or just choose the ones that you'd like on this menu. So as you can tell, today is got kind of a chilly theme to it. So we're going to get straight into this. We're doing the second half of level 5 today, and we're starting off with Ice World. Ice World is a strange and wonderful ability. I recommend using this with Leonard's Urn, actually. You can use it to wondrous effect. It will require, of course, an Ender Eye, or Eye of Ender, and increasing the power on this has no effect. The area of effect will definitely make the range that this affects greater, and I encourage you to use that. So gas brews are pretty much useless at this point. So let me grab a large potion, a large splash, and a small splash so you can see for yourself these differences. You'll notice that with this small potion here that I can use it to a decent area to turn the landscape into its icy equivalent. If it's dirt, it'll turn into snow. If it's stone, it'll turn into ice. And if it's cobble, it'll turn into packed ice and so on. You could actually layer caves like I did here. Gravel is unaffected, as are ores and a few other things, but it's pretty darn cool that you could actually do this. I mean, for instance, I have this let's see if I can dig my way to this other area that I made here. There's another path, but you can see how much has affected. It actually went into the wall in this area that I was spraying this at earlier. I just kind of peppered a bunch of these brews around the outside edges, and if you'll watch here, toss this up here, and pow, everything turns into like snow, ice, or packed ice. If I use the larger brew, it takes up a much larger area. Now, there are some really wondrous things you can do with this. Allow me to show you in an example. Here I have used some brews on this town and transformed all of the stone walls and buildings and everything into a wondrous icy winter land escape. Of course, it's populated by lycanthropes, so they don't really mind as much because they've got their woolly coats on. But you can see how you've got like your kind of frozen walls with the fences and everything. And this is another reason why a lot of witchery comes with these extra abilities that, building blocks for making these icy things. Now, it kind of is weird how it will change some areas, but it's got a big sphere that it works in. So if you actually dig down, you'll notice it's a lot of snow and ice down below as well. So once it hits a surface, it will actually transform everything within a sphere that can be transformed. Now, not everything will be transformed. As you notice, this hay bale man here is not being transformed. Neither is the spawner underneath. Hello, I can hear you guys down there. It does not have any effect on creatures. Will not transform them in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't do any damage or anything. It's purely aesthetic for changing things. And if you need ice or packed ice for any reason, just obtaining an Ender Eye will save you a very long trip from wandering around the entire, all the biomes looking for, a wintry cold area to harvest this from. Instead, you could make it yourself. Next, we have Ice Shell, which is a frozen creeper heart. The recipe for this is an icy needle plus a creeper heart and a gas tier. If you're not familiar with how to get creeper hearts, just kill them with preferably an Arthana, kill creepers, and you should get one eventually. And that's pretty much it for that. Of course, gas tiers you get from a gas, and icy needles from snowbells. But with that, Ice Shell is best as a ritual. I have to admit here. Allow me to demonstrate by taking some small and some large potions. The power affects the area in this case. The area of effect does not. It will affect a bigger splash area for a chill effect, because there is a slight chill effect to anything that's affected by this. But let's see. Which one's the lower level here? This one here. So if I toss this out, you'll see it creates an ice cube. It's very lackluster. I guess you could use this to put your sheep on ice, but it doesn't have too much effect on it. I mean, I could toss it on myself, and there we go. I get a little bit of chilled effect on here, which gives me kind of a slow. Now, if I level it up, just like with freeze, it will cause some damage, but also it will encase your target in an icy dome. Now, they're not taking damage from the blocks, they're taking damage from the cold effect. So you can see here, this sheep is not in fact in any of the blocks. It is just taking the damage. So I will toss it on myself, and you can see I get chilled 4, which of course gets more damage on the target. So it's kind of interesting. The encasement isn't very big, but hey, you know, when you break these, they are perpetual ice, same as the previous stuff that you were making before. It doesn't really melt in lava or anything like that. So it will stay here until it's mined. Once you mine it, it turns into water, just like regular ice would. And just to prove this point even further, you can see here, this has been here for quite some time. It's in lava. It's not actually causing any, lava effects. Whoops, let me toss this down. There we go, so that it actually lands proper, and the ice doesn't actually melt. It is perpetual ice, so you actually have to mine it for it to turn into water. Once again, this works really good as a ritual. If cast as a ritual, you can create massive ice domes, and in so doing, you could even do this underwater, and it will create air bubbles underneath so that you can have your own little area. I intended to do so on one of my playthroughs once, but by the time I realized it was too late, and I wasted a lot of time. It's a lot easier than trying to dig out underwater. And here we have Reflect Damage, which you're going to need spectral dust for this. To obtain spectral dust, you will have to be killing spectral creatures, or just trying to kill undead with an Arthana, and it could show up as a random drop from those. Otherwise, you could always kill a spectral familiar, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get one. Now with that, Reflect Damage will have more damage reflected on the attacker with more power. Area of effect just increases the area that it splashes from. Now you can do all sorts of splashes and gases and stuff, but personally I recommend, since you don't want your enemies to obtain this ability, you just should make a drinking potion, which will of course double the amount of time that it lasts. So let me get to an area where we can test this out. Here we are in the ice caves again, and I will just change my game mode, and we will plop down this here zombie once I've had myself a drink of a brew of Reflect Damage. Now this is of course the highest level at this point, and therefore he's going to take a lot of damage. But even at the lowest level, now of course I will be set on fire if he's on fire, but it will still, come here, over this way, dude. You're not a bright one, are you? There we go. It will reflect a lot of damage, but it won't reflect all damage. And even if it's lowest level, yeah, he pretty much killed himself by punching me, so therefore you could be a pacifist this way. But if you choose the lowest level, you'll still take the same amount of damage reduction, but you won't be reflecting very much damage in the process. So this can be a very useful spell or brew, even at a low level. Combining this with a few other combat effects, whether they be enhancements on you or just enchantments to help prevent you from taking other sources of damage, can be extremely powerful and can make quite a force to be reckoned with in battle. All right, here we go, getting into one of my favorites. This one here, I feel like I almost have the trademark on it, just because of how often this can be used and how strong of a power this potion can be, or brew. I keep calling them potions, forgive me. That's vanilla Minecraft. This is Witchery. So, Demonbane. We have here, the more power you add in, the more damage it does. The more area of effect, the more splash it is. Very traditional uses. It's very good as a gas brew, and it does a little bit of damage over time to most entities, and it does a lot of damage over time to anything of the demon class. Specifically, you'll have creatures like Lilith. Let me grab a few brews and we'll be on our way. Now, I may or may not have at some point summoned Lilith over here in the overworld, so no worries here. She's standing here just kind of chilling. I mean, I've already defeated her, so she just wants to know what the heck I want at this point. But you can still attack her, and therefore it's good for testing because she is a demon. And if you're not familiar with Lilith, look up the vampirism videos that I've made, and that will explain quite a bit for you. Now, here we go with the lowest level. It's just a level 1. Does quite a bit of damage to Lilith because considering if I try and hit her, you see there's like very little movement on the damage there. So if I use a high strength potion, level 4, it does considerably more, of course. And then, of course, if I use the gas brew, it just constantly will do the damage to her. And this will kill like a chicken or a cow or something like that. Oh, look at that. Within a couple hits. So it's very strong at the high level. But one brew, if aimed at the ground, because if you aim at her, it might not actually activate the brew, could feasibly kill Lilith. Now, in this case, we're just going to kind of finish her off. There we go. All right, we'll come back to Lilith here in just a moment. But there you go, the brew of Demonbane. And just in case you're wondering, it looks like packed ice. It's actually ice that is used in Demonbane. If you look in the book here and go to this, it currently says ice, even though it does look like packed ice, which I have in this frame here. It's actually regular ice that you will need for Demonbane. Now, let's get on to the really awesome demon-slaying potion of awesomeness that is Valens Brew of Icy Demise. This is an improvement over my previous version that I have shown off in my vampire video. This is Valens Brew of Icy Demise. In this we currently have, of course, Demonbane, and we have an Icy Needle to add in the freeze effect, and we have a fermented spider eye and a glistering melon just to add in a harm effect. Now you add all this into one gas brew, and you get yourself one lethal damaging brew, a gas field area. I mean, first and foremost, you get chilled. That's renewed while you're in there, and then when you walk out, you still have it for at least a minute and a half. Then you are also, while in the gas cloud, being attacked by harm spells, as well as being attacked by the freezing damage, as well as our brand new Demonbane, which does a ton of damage to demons and a moderate amount to non-demon kind. So let's go test this out on our little friend over here. Oh, Lilith, I have a little present for you, dear. Here we are. Now, you'll see here, toss it down next to her. She starts taking some serious damage. Goes much quicker than before. And you can always, just keep tossing it. But if you toss them on her, it's not really going to affect as much. You always want to aim at the ground and get that gas cloud to just kind of flow up in there. Therefore, anywhere she walks, she will be enveloped by this, or whatever demon you may have. And you notice she still was taking damage when she teleported away, because she still had that chill effect. So once she leaves this field, she can still have that on it, which should help negate her healing abilities. Now, this is just focusing on one boss. It is one of the more common bosses people will fight in Witchery, because a lot of people do like fighting or becoming a vampire. But it will work on multiple other demon kind. So, how do we make this brew? It's not too bad, actually. Now, you're going to need 9 levels of capacity. And in this case, it's just going to be Mandrake, Nether Wart, Tear of the Goddess, Diamond Vapor, and a diamond. There's your capacity done. Then you go with your glowstone, blaze rod, and as usual, these are all optional. I recommend that you use them at this point, but you toss in a charged attuned stone, then ice for Demonbane. Repeat the same, plus an icy needle for freeze. Repeat the same, add in a fermented spider eye and glistering melon for harm. And therefore you are set for your potion effects. Now you just increase the area with your wood ash, coca bean, and you then increase the lingering, how long it stays in the world in a gas cloud, with the belladonna and lapis lazuli. Bottle it up. If you're fortunate enough, you'll be able to get about 3 bottles out of it while wearing your witch's gear, like I have been. And then you get Valens Brew of Icy Demise, which is guaranteed to make all the sheep in the field extremely dead. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is pretty much it for page 5. We're moving on, or level 5. We're moving on to the next level in the next video. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Spread the mischief to others. And until next time, folks, I'll see ya.